Here's what's cooking on today's Sports Stove Football Show. It's Thanksgiving, so we have lots of football to discuss. We'll give you our picks for today's games as well as some primetime games, and we'll look at rivalry week in college football and the new coaching hires. That's what's cooking on today's Sports Stove Football Show. Welcome in to an all-new edition of the Sports Stove Football Show on the Belly Up Sports Network, presented by Righteous Felon Jerky. Join the flavor revolution at righteousfelon.com. Use the promo code STOVE15 to get 15% off your purchase. Well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. A special time for this release of this show today to get it done before the football games start. I'm Vince Stover, joined as I am every week by my dad, Dale Stover. Dad, happy Thanksgiving. How you doing?
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Doing good. Looking forward to the day for sure. And like you said, on Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving weekend, a lot of football and a lot of things, a lot of big games. So looking forward to all of that. And of course, always like to enjoy Thanksgiving and take a little bit of time to be thankful for the things we should.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm extra thankful this Thanksgiving because the Packers are on here in just a few hours. And so we get a lot of times we get the Packers on Thanksgiving, but obviously not always. And so we get to cheer them on today with a noon kickoff, 1 o'clock kickoff for you Eastern time folk. But looking forward to that game today. Let's get into those games in the NFL. We'll start with the Thanksgiving early kickoff. Green Bay at Detroit. The NFC North has become an interesting division. The Bears, of course, up top. They've got a big game this week. We'll get to that in a minute. The Lions, 7-4, but man, it really feels like they should be better than that. Green Bay is 7-3-1. They should have won that Dallas game. Actually, they should have won the Browns game. They should have won. They should only have one loss is where they should be at right now. But they've dropped the ball a few times. So Green Bay now travels to Detroit on Thanksgiving Day. Detroit is a 3-point favorite in this game, Dad. And we've had many Packer-Lions games over the years on Thanksgiving. How do you feel about this game?
Well, I think, it'll be a good game. I think the Packers, know what's in front of them. Interesting thing, a couple things with Detroit. I think Green Bay will have to be ready to go right out of the gate. I think Detroit's going to be very pumped up for this to start with. One, they don't want to get swept by the Packers there. And if they do get swept, it's going to hurt them in the chance to win the division. So the game means a lot for them, but it also means, of course, a tremendous amount for Green Bay because Green Bay can put themselves in good position. Green Bay has defeated the Lions earlier. I think that's a help. It was, first game of the year, so obviously things were different. But Green Bay's defense seems to have really come on here. They seem to have found a way in the first game to control Gibbs. And if they can do that again, then they're going to be in good shape, I think. They still have some players out. They have 4 guys out today, but they have picked up a couple guys from there. Jordan Love, his health is a little bit of a question. But, he seems to be in the tradition of Green Bay quarterbacks and really willing to fight through things. So this could really, make his legacy in a lot of ways today. So again, Green Bay's played on Thanksgiving, played in Detroit before. So I think it'll be, I think they'll come out ready to play. I think of all the games, this will definitely be one of the better ones on TV. And people will be excited to watch that. So, again, I think Green Bay's got a good chance to win. That's who I would pick in this. But it'll be a good game for sure.
Yeah, I think when you look at this game, again, I think the Packers defense is a top 5 defense in the league. And the way that they're playing right now, they're not quite where Houston is. Houston's been incredible. But the defense has been so good. The problems come now on offense. You've seen last week it was conservative play calling because they could, trying to keep Jordan Love healthy. You were missing Josh Jacobs last week. He's back this week. But, of course, Emmanuel Wilson looked really good last week. You've got some wide receivers dinged up, but overall you're healthy there where you need to be. Offensive line, they're making the change at right guard, which I think is probably past due, and see if that helps out a lot. At the end of the day, if they can play defense the way they played in week one, there'll be no problem with winning this football game. But Detroit's gotten better in areas as well. It is a home game for Detroit. I can't imagine that Detroit is going to come into this one. This is the kind of game where Dan Campbell is going to be preparing for 2 weeks on, right? It's not like he just started on Monday preparing for this game. So his game plan, all that kind of stuff, you're going to see some wacky stuff. You're going to see some trick plays. Those kinds of things are going to happen. It should be really entertaining. I can't pick against Green Bay today, so I'm going to go with the Packers as well. But this is a game the Lions should win. It should be close. It's a game the Lions should win. But we're going to go ahead and go with Green Bay today. We'll go with a homer pick on this one and think the Packers squeak this one out by maybe 4 points. They squeak this one out. So should be fun, though, for sure. And I'm glad it's the first game of the day. I'm glad we don't have to wait for this one. We get to watch it right here off the bat. All right, let's go to the second game, the 3:30 kickoff on CBS. To me, this game is lined up to be either incredibly entertaining or incredibly boring. So at Dallas. And the Chiefs, listen, 6-5. They're not out of it till they're out of it, right? But they are not looking the same. They're not looking like they used to. They're not what we're used to seeing out of Kansas City. Then you look at Dallas, and you go to that game against Philadelphia last week, and I watched as Dak Prescott, he flipped a switch in that game, and he just said, we're not going to lose this game. And you saw him running, you saw him diving, you saw him running over guys, you saw him making the passes, you saw George Pickens making great catches, CeeDee Lamb going up and getting it. If Dallas can come into this game as motivated as they were against Philadelphia, they could run over Kansas City today. But there is no consistency in Dallas. So they could come out and just completely flop. You just don't know what you're getting really out of either of these teams. We said it last week. Kansas City, every game is a playoff game for Kansas City the rest of the way. So we should be seeing the best of what they have to offer every single week. Dallas, on the other hand, man, it's just hit or miss with them right now. So, Dad, I'm curious of your thoughts on what you're expecting to see between Kansas City and Dallas. Kansas City is 3.5-point favorites on the road in this game.
Yeah, when you summed it up with Dallas, they're really up and down. You don't know what they're going to do. They really have talent. This Pickens thing has really, really helped them because Lamb is one of the best. And, Pickens, they have a great combination there. And I think you hit it on the head with Dak Prescott. He's a guy that can kind of take the game, into his own hands. I don't know that they have all the other pieces that they need to go along with that. Kansas City, we've always talked about you don't want to bet against Andy Reid. This is a big game. He knows how to play in Dallas. He knows how to play in big games. Mahomes, same way. You're talking about a quarterback that can take over the game. So I'm going to pick Kansas City in this one. I have more to gain. I guess Dallas could get back in the playoff hunt, but Kansas City is in a spot where they need this game. And, it's Thanksgiving Day. I can see Kansas City coming out and really looking like the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'll go on this. But like you said, it could be a very entertaining game, or it could get away from somebody.
Yeah. So both teams are currently 10th in the conference in the playoff hunt. So both teams are right in the same spot as far as trying to get a wild card spot. The NFC might be harder than the AFC this year to get that wild card spot for sure. Dad, I'm going with Dallas. I don't know. What I saw against Philadelphia this week made me realize they can do it. Now, whether or not they will is another question. I've always been a decent supporter of Dak Prescott. I think his talent is there. I like him as a ball player, as a leader on the field. There's always been so much chaos around that, you just never know. But I'm going to go Dallas in this one. I think they steal this one here against the as home underdogs on Thanksgiving. I'll go with Dallas. Thursday night, Thanksgiving night, we have another game as well, and it is Cincinnati at Baltimore. Joe Burrow's return, and if you can't make the playoffs, why not hurt someone else's playoffs chances? I guess is the way Joe Burrow is viewing this, and the amount of money Joe Burrow is getting paid, it makes sense for him to play if he's healthy. Dad, the Ravens are 7.5-point favorites now. That's gone up slightly. 6-5. They now have basically control their own destiny with the games they have left on the schedule. Does Joe Burrow coming back, not playing for a while, coming back first game, is it enough for Cincinnati to have the upset on Thanksgiving?
Well, I think, the general thoughts up here in Ohio is that probably Burrow shouldn't be playing. At least a lot of fans that I know, but I think it does make some sense. Baltimore, like you said, they need this game, and they're at home, so they should win it. That's who I would pick. But Joe Burrow, this could be interesting. If he may totally energize their team. They may come out, and say, hey, we may not make the playoffs, but, we're going to show people what we can do, at least offensively there. So it could be a spark that would really, make it interesting, because Baltimore has not been dominant. So, Cincinnati could make a run in this game, but Baltimore needs to win it. Being there at home, I'll pick them, but it'll be interesting because, again, Baltimore's in good shape to win the division if they can keep winning.
Yeah. Well, Joe Burrow doesn't play defense, and for the record, no one on Cincinnati plays defense. So that's where the problem lies. Is Joe Burrow can come back and put up points, but someone still has to tackle. Someone still has to keep Baltimore off the board. And so I think Baltimore wins this game. That it is a division game, and so you cannot take it lightly. Like, you have to. We've talked about this with all kinds of teams, but division games matter. In the AFC North, division games are typically very, very close. So we'll see how this one shakes down. There is no reason for Joe Burrow to not play if he's healthy. And a fan who says, no, he should just sit the rest of the way, they've lost sight of the purpose, right? Like, you just don't. The great ones play when they're healthy, plain and simple. And so if Burrow's healthy, he has to be on the field. And you say, well, it hurts their draft stock. It hurts what? No, they're 3-8. Best case scenario, they win out and they go 9-8. Like, it's not going to happen. So you're still going to get a decent draft pick. You're not drafting a quarterback, so it doesn't matter if you're not number one. Burrow needs to play, and he's going to play for the Bengals today against Baltimore. All right, Dad, let's look at a couple other games real quick. Friday, tomorrow, we've got a 2 o'clock kickoff, or 3 o'clock nationally. The Chicago Bears at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are a touchdown favorite in this game. The Bears lead the division. We talked about it last week some, where you said, well, yeah, but they could lose the rest of their games. That's not exactly what you said. But basically, you don't care that Ben Johnson's a good coach, and you don't care that they're playing better because they still ultimately stink. Dad, the Eagles, they're 8-3 also. They have not been playing great football. And so, Dad, I think I know where you're going with this one, but what do you think about Chicago and Philadelphia on a Friday afternoon?
Well, I think the Eagles, I'll pick the Eagles. I think they should win at home. But like you said, the Eagles have not played, great football. But you're going to have to score points to beat them. And I don't know that that's where Chicago is. They do score, some, but again, Philadelphia's got a very good defense. And so we will see. The Bears, I wonder, are they looking a little bit toward next week? Be a very hyped game with Green Bay. You wouldn't think they would look past the Eagles, but we'll see. If the Bears win this one, then man, everything, all bets are off. As far as being a legitimate chance to win the division. But we'll see. This will be a big game for their quarterback to see, how he does against the Eagles at home. Again, to me, it would be easy to pick the Eagles, except when you look at how they've played, you just don't know. So with this game on Black Friday, we'll see how it goes. Pretty much my feelings about the Bears. You may think I've softened just a little bit because I actually picked up a bear on one of my fantasy teams for this week, and that usually doesn't happen, but we will see. So I'll go with the Eagles, and be an interesting game.
All right, so I'm going to pick Chicago in this game, and I think that after this game, when Chicago wins by maybe a field goal, you can just play the Denny Green tape. They are who we thought they were. If you remember back in the day, the Bears beat the Cardinals, and Denny Green was pretty upset. I think it was the Cardinals, right? Yeah, I think it was the Bears. I think it's who Denny Green was talking about. And the deal is we're going to lose to them, but they're still who we thought they were. The Bears realize they're going to lose to Green Bay 2 out of the next several weeks. So they got to win every game they can up to that point. So they're going to win this game against Philadelphia. It'll make it more exciting against the Green Bay Packers later on. The Eagles, I just don't trust the Eagles. They keep winning, so you shouldn't pick against them. But I don't know, Dad. There's something about it it's been off all season for me with Philadelphia. The loss last week to Dallas, maybe that does something to them. That wakes them up. I don't know, but I think if anything, it could actually maybe fracture them even more. There's already issues with A.J. Brown. There's always been issues with the coach where there's been people who just don't like him, even though he wins football games. I like the Bears in this one, Dad. So I'm going to go Chicago. If I was a betting man, I'd take the points on this one, but I'm not. So I'll just go Chicago straight up in this one. All right, let's look at Sunday night. We got Denver at Washington. Denver is a touchdown favorite in this one, 6-point favorite in this one as well, Dad. The Commanders not really healthy, 3-8. Maybe Jaden Daniels plays in this one. I'm not sure that it matters. I've got Denver in this one as they continue to roll through the AFC towards the AFC title. So I got Denver over Washington on Sunday night. How about you?
Yeah, I would agree with that. The way Denver's played and the way Washington's been playing. It is on the road. It is back east, so it's a little bit of a change, but again, Sean Payton knows how to get people ready for that. So I think you got to pick the Broncos on this one.
And then Monday night, another top team in the AFC, the Patriots host the New York Giants. Giants 2-10. Jackson Dart looks like he's going to be back. But again, I'm not sure that it matters in this game. Patriots defense has been really good also. So I've got the Patriots on Monday night. Do you have the Patriots or a surprise there? The Giants as 7.5-point underdogs?
Yeah, I would pick the Patriots. They seem to have things rolling. The Giants come close, but never are able to get it with the games they've had lately. So, I'll go with the favorite Patriots at home.
All right. Then our final thing on the NFL this week is our Soul Survivor picks. Our Survivor picks we give to you each week to help you win your Survivor pool. And presented by Righteous Felons Soul Survivor flavor or Korean barbecue flavor that you can find on righteousfelon.com. Use the promo code STOVE15. You'll get 15% off your purchase. Dad, last week we both continue to be correct. You had the Patriots. I had the Jaguars last week. Snuck that one out. It's getting harder and harder for me, Dad. I've used a lot of good teams in my Survivor pool, but yet to miss. Who are you going with this week in your Survivor pick?
Yeah, we're kind of running out of teams, but I've got a good one left, so I'm going to go with Denver as a win here over Washington as the sole Survivor pick.
Yeah, I like that one. I think that's pretty safe. Man, again, I I got to get the right matchups at this point in my survivor picks. So I'm going Atlanta over the New York Jets this week, trusting that Atlanta can put back-to-back games together. They do have some injuries. They're road favorites in this one. The Jets are really bad. So I'm just hopeful that Atlanta doesn't drop the ball in this one. I'm going Falcons this week against the Jets. I looked at, there's a hard ones to pick from. I looked at the Dolphins. They're playing the Saints this week. I considered that one. I can't trust that right now either. So I'm going to go Atlanta, and I've squeaked out a few this year. My Bengals won. They barely won. The Jaguars last week barely won. I've had a few that were really, really close. So we got it, though. We're going with Atlanta. All right, that's it for the NFL this week. Of course, there's all kinds of games on Sunday as well. But I want to transition now, Dad, over to college football. The coaching carousel is in full swing, and this is the best week of college football. Week 1 is fun, but the final week, rivalry week, is the best week of college football. Just a massive slate of fun games where even teams who are way better than the other team are at risk of losing this week. So it affects playoff outings. It affects coaching carousel. It affects the transfer portal. It affects recruiting. It affects everything. And we got tons of great games this week. So let's start off. We're going to have 5 games for you this week that we're picking in college football. The first one is Texas A&M at Texas. This is a game that means everything in the world. Texas A&M undefeated. They're making the playoffs no matter what. But to go undefeated, to go into the SEC championship game undefeated, and to go back to our SEC preview when Vince Stover said, this is the year for Texas A&M. The expectations are lower, yet the talent is high. This is their opportunity. I'd sure love to see them finish it out here against Texas. Texas is playing better. Arch Manning has figured things out a bit. He's playing better. Dad, in this game, Texas A&M is a 2.5-point favorite on the road against the Longhorns. I'm sticking with A&M in this game. How do you feel about this game?
Well, this will be a very good game to watch. I like what A&M has done, and being able to. I would be for A&M, but when I look at this game, I'm going to have to pick Texas. I just don't see the Longhorns losing to a rival like the Aggies at home with the talent they have. This is Texas's chance to kind of save the season, even though they have a very good record and everything there. I just have a feeling. I'm going to pick Texas, but I'll probably cheer for A&M.
Yeah, and this is a Friday night game, by the way. 7:30 kickoff on Friday night on ABC. We got some really good football games on Friday night to watch as well, so that's pretty exciting. All right, that's going to be a fun game. Let's go now out west to Arizona at Arizona State. This game is crucial for the conference, of course. Arizona on the road as the lower seed. There's a 1.5-point favorite. Arizona State, though, of course, they lost their quarterback, Sam Leavitt, a couple weeks ago. They've still been playing pretty good football, though. Dad, Arizona at Arizona State, who you taking?
Again, a very close game, but I'll go with the favorite on this one in Arizona. They've played well, and so we'll stay with them. Even though you're talking on the road, but you and I have been out to Arizona a lot. That's not a big road game as far as distance and fans. There's only 3-4-year colleges in Arizona, so most everybody's one or the other. So I'll go with Arizona.
Yeah, I'm going with Arizona too. They've been playing really good all season. Arizona State's been playing fine. But I just trust Arizona more at this point. So I'm going to go Arizona in this game as well. All right, let's go to the ACC. Miami, ranked number 12, 9-2. This is their final chance really to solidify their shot at a conference tournament or conference championship and playoff berth. Pitt, number 22, 8-3. They had a big win last week. They're hosting Miami. Miami is a 6.5-point favorite in this game, Dad. You going to go with Miami or Pitt this week?
I'll go with Pitt at home. Miami again. They have played well this year, and they may win, but going up to Pennsylvania this time of the year, Pitt has played well. So I'll pick the underdog on this one, even though because they are the home team, Pitt.
Yeah, I did not see you going this way. I have Pitt also this week, and the reason why is because I've been trashing Miami pretty much all season. So I can't jump off the train now. I've got to stick with that. I don't think Miami should be a playoff team. I just don't see it. I think they're the third best team, maybe in the ACC, and I don't want them to be in the playoffs. So it's more of a pick against Miami than a pick for Pitt for me this week. But I'm going to go with Pitt. The win last week, I'm hoping that doesn't kind of settle them. I hope they still are a little amped for this game. But I'm going to go Pitt also this week. I'm surprised you went Pitt, Dad. I like it, though. All right, let's go to the game that means a lot to your wife, my mother, and all the other people that live up in Ohio and in Michigan. Ohio State, undefeated, number 1 in the country. Michigan, number 15, 9-2. Their playoff hopes are still alive, especially if they beat Ohio State this week. And we know Ohio State has really struggled to beat Michigan in Ryan Day's tenure at Ohio State. The Buckeyes are 9.5-point favorites on the road for Saturday's kickoff. Dad, Ohio State or Michigan this week?
Well, up here, like I said, today is Thanksgiving, and that's an important holiday. But in the state of Ohio, the game is one of the biggest holidays there is. And Ohio State's done everything the last 2 years you need them to do except beat Michigan. And so, they are focused year long on this. And as you've said, their defense has played unbelievably. The offense, they have the talent. Michigan's a good team, but if Ohio State has ever been primed and ready to go, it has to be this one. So, yes, I will go with Ohio State. I'm not sure about 9.5 points, but it could be a lot worse than that too. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go Ohio State also. But let's just say Ohio State loses this game. They're still going to make the playoffs, and they can still win the championship back-to-back years. But does Ryan Day, what happens if they lose to Michigan and win the championship back-to-back years? They've lost to Michigan more than that. What's the conversation around Ryan Day if he can't beat Michigan?
If he wins the national championship again, then he's fine. The way they've played, I don't know that his job is in jeopardy. But as far as his legacy is concerned,
yeah,
he's got to beat Michigan, and of course he had beaten them several times before. So we will see. But this is a game with a lot hanging on it.
But that's kind of what I'm getting at. I don't think that he's going to get fired or anything like that. But the conversation that the fans have about Ryan Day, if he loses to Michigan again, is there a way for Ohio State fans to love Ohio State but hate Ryan Day all at the same time?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm not a native Ohioan, so I'm not sure about that. But it's hard for anybody to be a hero that can't beat Michigan.
Yeah. Well, he's only beat him one time, Dad. Ryan Day is 1-4 against Michigan. So this would be, if he goes 1-5, even with the national championship, if he goes 1-5, I don't think the Ohio State fans who are incredibly sane and not crazy at all. I mean, if Ryan Day goes 1-5 against Michigan, it feels like they're not going to call for him to be fired, but they're going to say this guy, he stinks. Even though he wins the national championship, it's wild, absolutely wild. All right, Dad. Last game I want us to look at in the college football slate this week is Tennessee at Vanderbilt, or excuse me, Vanderbilt at Tennessee. I was talking about this with somebody recently. The Vanderbilt has played spoiler throughout the years to Tennessee, where they come to the final week of the season, and Vanderbilt, if they could beat Tennessee, they knock them out of championship contention, or they knock them out of the SEC championship, or they knock them out of, a good record for the season. And that was kind of Vanderbilt's hope, is to play spoiler. Well, now we come to the end of the season. Vanderbilt's ranked number 14 in the nation, 9-2. Tennessee's ranked 19 in the nation, 8-3. If Vanderbilt beats Tennessee, they're probably in the playoffs. There's a chance they would still miss, but if they beat Tennessee, there's probably an 80 to 90% chance they make the playoffs. So now Tennessee is in the role of spoiler, which is rare for this matchup. Dad, Vanderbilt's been playing well. Diego Pavia has been incredible. Tennessee has been playing pretty good themselves. Their losses have been close. Their losses have been against good teams. So, Dad, when you come down to it, this is going to be a really interesting game. Tennessee is now a 2.5-point favorite. That has come down. It opened the week at 3.5. They're now a 2.5-point favorite at home against Vanderbilt. Dad, are we trusting Vandy anchor down to the playoffs, or we think Tennessee is going to kill all their hopes?
Well, I think Tennessee will win this, but obviously Vanderbilt can. You're right. Vanderbilt has a lot riding on this, more than they maybe ever have. Definitely in any recent history, the times we lived in Tennessee, it was never a game like this. Vanderbilt, I think, did upset them a time or so. But Tennessee is a good team too. This is at Tennessee. Vanderbilt, though, has won their share of big games in the last 2 years, and definitely this year. So this will be a very good game to watch. Of course, we're interested in it because we lived in Tennessee for a long time. But I'll pick Tennessee. But it'd be a great story, I guess, to think Vanderbilt could make the playoffs is still kind of mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
But they could, and that would be interesting. So we will see. But I'll go with the Big Orange.
I believe this is the biggest game in Vanderbilt history. I think that even if they make the playoffs, this game here remains the biggest game in Vanderbilt history. I think that winning this game is like winning the championship for Vanderbilt. That means there's a lot of pressure on them. There is a lot of anxiety going into this game if you're Vanderbilt. I do think Tennessee is really good. I am cheering for Tennessee to win this game, but I am picking Vanderbilt to win this game. I think Vanderbilt, everything is on the line here for them. And Tennessee, they're not making the playoffs even if they win this game. That doesn't mean they don't want to win. That doesn't mean there isn't stuff at stake. But ultimately, and obviously, you do not want to lose to in-state rivals. You do not want to lose to Vanderbilt. I get all of that. Dad, I'm picking Vanderbilt this week for maybe the first time in my life against Tennessee. I'm picking Vanderbilt to win this game. And I think it's going to be an incredible game. I think that you're seeing a Diego Pavia game here that is going to go down in history as something special. And I'm really intrigued by this one, Dad. We will see how it all shakes down, but I love it. There is so much going on in college football on top of the games going on for the teams who have ended their season. The transfer portal is wild right now. And I'm wearing my EKU hat in solidarity with my friends from Eastern Kentucky, and several have already hit the portal. I've reached out to one player and their parent as rumors are swirling that there's a massive opportunity for him to go somewhere else. Jeremiah Bailey, the defensive lineman at EKU, has had a stellar career at EKU, and it looks like he's going to get his Power 4 opportunity next season. And so cheering him on as he seeks out his next opportunity there. And maybe coaching changes, all that good stuff. Lots of rumors flying about EKU. Most people don't care about EKU, so let's talk about some other names too. Jim Mora goes from UConn to Colorado State. Not a massive move. He's been pretty good at UConn, doing what he needs to do. Obviously, lots of history there for Jim Mora. He's got all kinds of experience. His dad, of course, coached as well. But he goes from UConn to Colorado State, a chance to build that program up. Oklahoma State hires Eric Morris from North Texas. I love this hire. It's an incredible hire. I hate it for North Texas because they're in the playoff hunt right now. It looks like they're going to lose their star quarterback, who will probably go to Oklahoma State as well. And it looks like he's sitting out the playoffs possibly. Like, that's crazy too. But Eric Morris to Oklahoma State. Dad, we have friends that are Cowboys fans out there in Stillwater, and I got to imagine they're happy about this hire. It's a really good hire for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I think this one fits well with a guy from North Texas in that area, with Oklahoma State, and hopefully Oklahoma State can get where they need to be quickly.
Arkansas hires Alex Golish. We know Alex as an offensive coordinator from Tennessee. He's more currently the head coach at South Florida there as well. You know, you heard a lot of different names. Golish was one of the names we heard at Arkansas. A lot of coaching experience in the SEC, can recruit. This seems like a slow build still for Arkansas. I don't see this being a fast turnaround for Arkansas, but not a bad hire either there. What are your thoughts on Arkansas's outlook now with Alex Golish as their head coach?
Well, again, we've talked about anybody coming into the SEC is tough because of all the good coaches that are there and of all the strong programs. Arkansas has tradition. South Florida has developed quite a team there. So we'll see. This may not have been a bad move. Like you said, maybe it's a little quick compared to who could have been available. We'll see.
We'll continue to follow the Lane Kiffin stuff. I think Saturday we're supposed to get an announcement on what's going on with him. There's some rumors now. It's actually picking up steam a little bit that maybe he could be going to the NFL. I don't think that's going to happen. It seems more likely that he's going to LSU. But, we will see. He's getting perturbed by people asking him. It's like, well, you're the one that started this. So we'll follow it. How about the kiss of death, Dad? This is the last thing I wanted to talk about. Lincoln Riley out at USC. He says, I'm 100% staying at USC. So I would assume that within 2 weeks, we should have an announcement of Lincoln Riley coaching somewhere else next year with that announcement that's been placed, right? I mean, anytime we hear 100% staying, that means they're 100% leaving, correct?
Yeah, the I'm 100% here usually it tells you everything you need to know. So we will see. Lincoln Riley be a great coach, whoever could get him. But I don't know if you have a much better spot than USC. So we will see. You're right about that, though.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Listen, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope that you enjoy the day with family and friends and, football and food and all that good stuff going on. There are plenty of things to be thankful for. And this football slate, I'm thankful for it. It's going to be a lot of fun today watching all these games, a lot of fun tomorrow watching those games, a lot of fun Saturday, a lot of fun Sunday. Plenty of games to watch this weekend. And really what you need, you're going to have your leftovers from lunch, but you also need a good snack with you. And the best snack around is Righteous Felon Jerky. Go to righteousfelon.com. Find your new favorite flavor there. When you go to checkout, enter the code STOVE15. You're going to get 15% off your purchase. Thank you for tuning in to this Thanksgiving edition of the Sports Stove Football Show. Make sure you follow us on social media at Sports Stove on Twitter and Instagram. Follow us on our subscribe to our YouTube channel. By the way, we got all kinds of NFL draft coverage over at the Sports Stove YouTube channel. And all of our episodes, Thursday episodes, are found on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel as well. Thank you for watching today. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Until next time, we'll see you around the Sports Stove.